I'm really excited to share with you this very requested video on my hair rinse recipe. I also thought that I would include in the video my usual wash routine for my hair. So I've had locks for over 23 years and freeform locks for over 7 years, and I love them. It's been a real journey in finding what works best for my hair that's healthy. And so I'm excited to share what I've learned with you, specifically around keeping the hair clean in a really natural way that supports healthy hair and scalp. And I just wanted to show you my scalp to show you this is right before washing. My scalp stays really clean on this regimen, and I'm really happy. The last wash I think I did was about a week ago. I tend to wash my hair every 3 days to 7 days, depending on where we are and the weather. As a medical doctor with additional training in dermatology diagnosis, I often see health challenges around the scalp and the hair, and I cannot overemphasize the importance of choosing a hair cleanser that is natural. And that is why, for me, getting products for my hair rinse involves going to the local market. I mentioned this in my last video about my hair, that what we put on our hair, in our hair, especially on a regular basis, definitely gets into our internal system and affects our organs because it goes through the scalp, which is one of the most vascular sites on our entire bodies. So a lot of the conventional and standard commercial shampoos have tons of chemicals and additives in them, and these compounds are extremely dangerous for our health. Some of the compounds include sodium lauryl sulfate, ethanolamines, and parabens, and many of these compounds have carcinogenic properties, which means they're linked to cancer, and they also cause a lot of hormonal imbalance within the body. One possible result for the hormonal imbalance can be uterine fibroids, and I have an entire webinar on natural treatments of fibroids that you can check in the description box below. So this is why every ingredient in my hair rinse is absolutely natural. Sage is wonderful. It's a natural antiseptic and it has antimicrobial properties, which means that it can fight bacteria on the scalp. It's a great cleanser, therefore, for the scalp, and so it's the base for my hair rinse. I have a few other things I use, but sage I always use. Sage is also rich in B vitamins, which are great for helping keep the hair really strong and promoting hair growth. Just one thing with sage, it can be darkening in the hair. So if you have light hair, I recommend using maybe lemon juice instead as an alternative. I also love rosemary. Rosemary helps to improve circulation, which also will help with hair growth, and it has antioxidant properties that are also helpful for hair growth and just general scalp and hair health. Rosemary also helps internally with memory, and as I said, you'll be absorbing some of these things in your system, and so you can get a boost of memory by using rosemary. I love lavender essential oil. Lavender is calming both for the scalp and also as aromatherapy. It's calming for the nerves and for the senses. And so you get a little bit of aromatherapy while using some of these drops in your hair rinse. I really enjoy using peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is fantastic for preventing a dry, itchy scalp. It's really cooling. And it's also vasodilating, which means it helps to expand the blood vessels. And so I think it works synergistically with the other ingredients so that you're really absorbing some of the wonderful nutrients from the other herbs, the rosemary, the sage, by having the blood vessels expand and really suck up some of these nutrients. I can't end without talking about ylang ylang. I love this oil for many reasons, and specifically for the hair, it smells amazing, and it's wonderful for a lot of scalp conditions, including eczema, also known as atopic dermatitis, as well as some other just irritative dermatitis. So I love using ylang ylang to help with general scalp health. So I can sometimes switch up my hair rinse recipe depending on where in the world I am, but these are usually the basic things I will use because I can find them almost anywhere, and my hair and scalp feel really good with this. But sometimes I can use amla, which I found while in Thailand. I also recommend using things like nettle, which is an anti-inflammatory, fantastic. I always believe in customizing and individualizing your hair rinse based on what your needs are. That's another reason I love doing a DIY hair rinse. So I'm going to show you how I make it. Here is the kitchen. We are in an Airbnb right now, and we are ripening some lovely papayas, not using the microwave that is here. So I start with a pot of filtered water. Please use the cleanest filtered water you have available to you, whether that's distilled water, mineral water, spring water. Use clean water and filtered water because you do not want chlorinated, fluorinated water in your hair. So I start with that, probably about 4 cups. And to that, I will add in the sage, break some sage in. And, for about 4 cups of water, I will use about half a cup of dried sage. And then I will add in the rosemary. So I'm using these rosemary tea bags that I got while we were in Chiang Mai. So I add the rosemary and the sage, and I bring that to a gentle boil. Once the water is boiled, I will turn off the water completely and then add a few drops each of the essential oils that I mentioned. Another thing you can also do instead of boiling the water and adding the herbs is, if you have this available to you, a big glass mason jar, put regular, again, clean water in, put your herbs in, close, and then let it sit in the sun for days, maybe even a week, so that you get a gentle but really deep steep of those herbs that you love. And I love doing this when we're in a place for a longer period of time and I have those things available to me. After the mixture has cooled enough, I will then strain it through a colander to remove the leaves, and then you have this beautiful dark liquid, and it's ready to be used. I will pour most of the liquid in a large pot, or preferably a basin that I can dunk my head into, and then just about a little bit, maybe a cup, in a smaller bowl, and I'll explain to you why I do that in a little bit. But now it's time to massage my scalp and then wash my hair. So before washing my hair, I actually love to give my scalp a good massage. And what this does is, if there's any residue, which I usually don't have on my scalp, massaging my scalp will break this up and just loosen any debris that might be in my hair or my scalp. It also just wakens up the scalp. It increases circulation around so that the scalp is open, the pores are open, the blood vessels are open and ready to receive all the goodness I'm about to give to it. So I usually just get in the shower and wash my hair, but for the purposes of this video, I'll show you what I'm doing. So I first just wet my hair with water, and again get my hands in there and start massaging my scalp even more. So I do this first, and then I bring into play the wonderful hair rinse, and I use this as a hair wash, as my shampoo. Sometimes, as I mentioned in my past video, I just use a water wash. I just wash my hair with water. I do this most of the time actually, but maybe once a week or twice a month, depending on how I feel my hair needs, what my hair needs are, I will use the hair rinse in replace of the water only wash. Hope this makes sense. So I'm using the hair rinse now in my hair as my shampoo. Now, if you don't want a DIY version and you just want to be able to go somewhere and buy healthy shampoo, there are more and more brands out there that I think are doing a really conscious job in their products and what goes into their products. I just always recommend reading the ingredients of anything that you buy, whether it's to eat or to put in your hair. So whatever it says on the front of the shampoo, turn it around. Even if it says it's natural, turn it around and read the ingredients and make sure there are no strange things that you can't pronounce and artificial additives and chemicals like I mentioned before. I used to use Dr. Bronner's Castile shampoo that I loved for many years, and I would dilute it. But for me, after a while, I found that I had a residue from that I didn't like. I've also used African black soap, which I also super enjoy using, and you can find that in many places. But really, my preference is just to customize and individualize this hair rinse. It just, my hair and scalp love it, and it feels really natural. I don't need to use things like ACV or something else to try to remove oils later on, because I don't use oils in my hair except for a couple of drops of the essential oils that go into this hair rinse. So as you can see in the video, I basically put the hair rinse in my hair, use it as a shampoo, massaging it into my scalp and my hair, and then I rinse off with water. And then after I'm done, I then use that smaller bowl with a smaller quantity of the hair rinse as a final hair rinse that I will then leave in. I do not rinse this out. I let this stay in my hair and scalp, and then I'm done. After my hair rinse, my hair and scalp feel absolutely amazing. And I like to use this super absorbent microfiber towel to wrap my hair. It really absorbs a lot of excess water. I've been using and traveling with this for years and love it. And I will leave this as well as some other of my essential oils, links to that in the description box below under my recommended products. So you can check that out if you'd like. And now it's about an hour, 2 hours later, we have been out. I love to dry my hair naturally in the sun, and I always prefer to do this. I always try to do this. And we're about to have some breakfast by the sea, and my hair is completely dry. It feels super light and it's soft and feels so healthy and good. So there it is. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. And I send you so much love from the Canary Islands. Take care. Si tú no me quieres ya, si el amor que ya ha pasado no se debe recordar.